right, guys, what's up, everybody? It's your boy Roberto back with some more Yu-Gi-Oh, and I got here with me my boy Bradley Wallace. You guys know him from his Dragon Link list that everybody was asking about, and he played in the Tournament of Power, losing to the person who eventually got second place. Bradley, welcome back to the channel, man.
Nah, it's good to be back. I wish I could have went to nationals. I'm in the process of buying a house, so that's been taking up all of my time. But I think we have a video today about splites. Is that correct?
Yes. And we're gonna go over Splight. You know, everybody's anticipating this deck, and really, a lot of people don't know how to play, like what's gonna, like what's the standard and how many different builds we can play. So, that's why we got Bradley here. He's really kind of, he's really been studying the deck, so he knows a lot of creative builds. He's gonna go over some things along with myself and give everybody basically what they've been asking for. A lot of people want to play the deck, but they don't know where to start at. So this is going to be a good starting point to help a lot of people.
Okay, yeah. So the first thing I want to preference is that, go over is that, again, there is no set builds right now. I don't think anyone has that concrete build that they would just know is going to be tier 0. I can tell you for the next 3 months, since the Terra Elements becomes what it becomes, this is going to probably be the deck that you're going to play against a lot. But there are a lot of different variants. So I think the first thing we want to go over is the splites themselves. Okay. So the first thing is Splight Jet. The most important thing to remember about all of these, they're all extenders. You can special summon them from hand if you control a level 2, rank 2, or link 2. When they're summoned, 2 of them have an insane effect. It lets you search a spell card or a trap card, which is the Jet.
Yep.
And then the other one lets you search a monster when it's summoned. And then if you go over to blue, same thing. This one lets you summon the monster. The Jet lets you summon the spell trap card. Well, search the spell trap card. And then you have the negates. If you go over just a little bit over. So Splight Red summons itself, and then essentially it can negate a card by attributing another level 2 monster.
Okay.
Link or level 2 monster.
Okay, so Splight Red. So Splight Red is the one that negates. So it's right now.
And then you go one more. Okay. And then you have red carrot. So carrot is the one that's a spell a trap card negate. So that's pretty much the main lineup. Now the ratios, I think blue and Jet are going to stay the same in most lists. I think I've seen lists bouncing between 1 or 2 carrots and 1 or 2 reds.
Okay. Yeah. So do you think any of these are at any point could be bricks? Is that why it's carrot may be going between 1 and 2 and the same thing with red? Or so you don't need that many of them?
So the thing about the deck is everything recurs itself. So they act as extenders and you bring them back, but they're nowhere as good of extenders as some of the other cards in the deck. So you don't want to open multiple of those, but you do want to open the blue because the blue gets you another name, which is Jet, and Jet gets you another a spell card, which can either be an interruption or it could be a or an extender as well.
Okay. All right.
And then, sorry. And then good? If you can go down to where you see OCG at the bottom slightly, the blue, right? Yeah, the spell card. All right. So you have Splight Starter. This card is insane. It is a 1-card combo. Depending on variance, it can produce a couple of negates, interruptions. It is really insane. Essentially, what it does lets you special summon a Splight from your deck. If you do, you take damage equal to that card's attack. And then for the rest of the turn, you can't special summon anything but level 2 monsters, rank, link 2 monsters. So that's the card that Jet would normally search in most scenarios to help you keep extending. If you go to the side deck really quickly, there's another one with the OCG on it.
Smashers. All right.
This card is insane. So I don't know if every deck is going to main deck it sided or even play it in general. But what it does allow you to do is play through Dark Ruler and some of these interruptions. Essentially, you would banish 1 Therion, 1 Spriggan, or 1 Splight card monster. And then you can apply 1 of the 3 effects. You can special summon a monster from your deck, special summon 1 of those 3 from your graveyard, or you can banish one level 2 rank link 2 monster and banish one card on the field. So it's your out for mine as well.
Wow.
So
Card is insane.
then, yeah, the card is really good. But again, the deck is already so good. I don't know. I've seen a lot of individuals not opt to play the card, and I do see a lot of individuals play the card. I think the slight differences between OCG and TCG would determine if this card is going to be played or not. And then if you go to the extra deck where and just type the first OCG. So this card is Gigantic Splight. This card is actually insane. So first thing that's important about this card is you can overlay using link 2 monsters with it, right?
That is crazy, man. Like that is like the newest thing ever.
Correct.
That is like crazy for you to be able to use a link monster as XYZ. Like that's something that's like game changing right there. I think that's what's gonna probably make this deck. That's part of the reason this deck is so good because you're using link monsters as part of the combo rather than having to link them off. You can just XYZ them. No
Correct.
other deck can do that, correct? That I know of. There's
I don't know. If me personally, I don't know any other deck that does that. So often in Yu-Gi-Oh, they have to keep power creeping. So that's a whole new component to Yu-Gi-Oh. And then if it does have an XYZ Synchro or Link monster attached to it, it can gain the attack of the combined attack. The most important thing is this is how you make the deck Nibiru proof per se. So essentially you would detach Nada's cost, which is important. And then if it resolves, neither player can special summon anything but level 2 monsters.
What?
For the rest of the turn, and then it specials a level 2 from the deck. So pretty insane. The card has some weaknesses, obviously, which is where we're going to go over once we kind of get out of the one card combos and extenders. So that's pretty much the whole Splight engine for the most part. There are some other Splight cards, but I don't see them being played in the near future. The next engine I want to go over is the Swap Frog engine.
Okay.
This engine is insane, right? Swap Frog by itself gets you to a Toad and a Negate. I apologize. Toad and a Negate. And it gives you follow up for multiple turns. This is the card that it helps them just completely extend. For those that don't know, you can special summon one frog. You can discard a water monster, special summon Swap Frog from the hand, and then it dumps a frog. The aqua monster, I apologize. And if you go to the next one, they're normally dumping the rodent totem. So the rodent totem banishes a frog monster to special summon itself from the graveyard. And then you have the Duke Frog, which is really just there just a special off of the Totally Awesome. With this card has to be the first card attacked. So it directs
2,000 defense is nice too. So
yeah,
it has to be targeted for attack. Most people can't just run over this because of its attack.
You know what's even crazier? If you look at some of the Splites, they all have high defenses. So you're just not going to run over any of these Splites.
18.
Look at the negates.
Nice. Oh yeah,
you're not.
Okay, so that makes sense. The negates have higher defense, so you can't just run them over.
Yeah, you're not gonna just run over the negates.
Fair enough.
The searching don't come up as much unless you have to run it over because it does miss timing because it is a win effect. Hold on, my charger. My laptop is about to die. Okay.
Hey, share
so
with her.
I think all of this is going to be super standard.
Keep on explaining to them, Bradley.
That's good. So I'm pretty sure all of this is going to be super standard. Where we get into less standard territory is the Diva package. So I see a lot of individuals opting to play the Diva package because it does give you access to Hulk. Access to Hulk does give you an extender or it gives you a hand trap to bounce back to hand with Swap Frog. Some individuals don't like the Diva package just because we don't have Maxi. But again, when you're going second, they're putting in droplets, they're putting in Dark Ruler. We definitely want to be able to add as many interruptions outside of that as possible. What we have after that is the Nimble Engine. This engine is better at... Oh, I'm going to go back real quick. I apologize. With the Diva. Another play you have with Diva is summoning the infantry from deck. Can you go to the side deck real quick?
So
And
yeah.
yeah, right there. Quick, yeah. So with this again, it helps play around the Dark Ruler. If you go to the left on Cat Shark, essentially what you would do is make Cat Shark. I mean, the effect is kind of garbage, but essentially what you're doing is deattaching the infantry as calls to pop something. So it helps you play through the Dark Ruler.
Uh,
All right, so that's kind of the Diva engine. If you go to the Nimble engine, which is like right, the first card on the left bottom row. Oh, at the top, in the monsters. I'm sorry.
oh,
Yeah,
this one here.
not over. Yeah, right there. So, a lot of individuals are opting to play this card because it is better late game because it does special from deck or grave. I don't know if that matters as much in my opinion, just because the deck has a really good grind game and late game in itself. That's pretty much what that does.
So
And
I got a question, Bradley.
yeah, shoot.
Is how does this deck play going second? Is it good, or is that why you play play some hand traps in it, or how
So
does it go with going second?
essentially, most builds are all gas. So going second, it can break normal boards. I think it starts losing to the window, the scythe boards, which is why some of the other decks like Terra Elements does give it a little bit of a problem. But I do think it's a better going second deck than what we have right now currently, just because everything it has a bunch of one card starters. All of these extenders are insane, and it has the ability to play a bunch of hand traps.
That's what usually makes these type of decks hard to beat and to make deck tier 0, because if you can play your engine, your one card starters plus hand traps, it's almost impossible to beat these type of decks. And I
Right.
think that's what deck was it? I can't think of. They could play all those hand traps, and it was God, I can't think of the name of the deck.
It was a tier 0 deck.
Yes, it's a tier 0 deck,
They played
and
a
it could,
bunch of hand traps.
God,
Oh, man, I can't remember. Oh, Zodiac.
yeah, there we go,
Yeah.
Zodiac. So
Um, I think for me, this deck gives me a Zodiac feel, but it's more of the substitute Zodiac feel where it's just gaining a lot of advantage really quickly and it's recovering. I don't think it's unbeatable. It's definitely beatable though. And we're going to kind of get into that after we get over this last two engines. And then I think this is going to be the least played engine. It's the Live Twin engine. It's another one card starter, but it is using. It does require you to have no monsters on the field, which means it kind of has to be the first card played, unless you're expecting your opponent to get rid of your bodies, which is the best way to beat the deck. That allows you to get into the Link 4. It allows you to make any of the standard plays. One thing I will say it does do is give you an actual engine, though, outside of your splites, something that the Nimble and the Diva doesn't. So it allows you to play have a lot of different lines of plays.
okay, you're not stuck in one set of line of plays. You can do stuff differently, switch it up.
Correct. And then the last engine, this is my favorite engine, is the Punk engine. So with this, it does make you a little bit more susceptible to nib if you just start off with this, but they're not nibbing anything important. Hypothetically, this is just one card. You have a bunch of one card engines in your deck, a bunch of extenders, a bunch of 2-card combos. So what this allows you to do is to either extend really hard, make Appaloosa if you're trying to play it. You can make Baron, you can make and you can make Herald off of one self-contained combo. So I think this is really, really good. The way I like to play. And the person that gave me this idea was Dalton. Dalton was playing it, and I don't. A lot of individuals will play it or won't play it, but I think it's worth mentioning.
Okay, that's
So the cards that I have in the main deck are cards that I think are good exclusively to Splight. Well, really geared towards Splight. So you have Dark Ruler. Dark Ruler either is going to be very subpar or a blowout card. Again, if they start off with a one card combo and they're trying to play around Dark Ruler, you may only be negating 2 cards that your deck could have played through anyway.
correct.
And then we get into Ash. I think that's the biggest blowout card, though, for sure. Then we get into Ash. It's a little bit low impact, but what it does allow you to do, if played correctly, is to be able to nib your opponent if they don't get to the red. I think out of all of the hand traps, my favorite probably would be Gamma because it negates and get rid of the body. Effect Veiler is going to be good because you are negating. Um, Again, you're negating the gigantic Splight, stopping your opponent from kind of stopping you from being able to nib and interact during their turn a little bit further, and also hitting key cards and is not once per turn. I think DD Crow is going to be really insane because it does hit the Rodent Totem engine. It does hit the Link 2, which we forgot to actually go over. We need to go over the Link 2. Um, yeah, cool. All right, so this card is pretty much insane. You can't target anything that is pointing to, which is kind of a problem. And also, essentially, you could during either player's main phase, quick effect, you can special summon a level 2 monster from the graveyard. If your opponent controls a monster, you can bring back a rank 2. So essentially, they're looping the totally awesome.
It's so with totally awesome when it leaves the field. Can you and you bring it back? Can you negate again with it?
Yep. And then every time it's in that graveyard, it's giving you water monsters back, essentially. So next turn you can make another Splight Elf next turn and then keep just looping. Which is why I said I don't necessarily care so much for the Nimble Engine because the deck already has a lot of recursion.
Yeah. And then yeah, DD Crow is gonna be good because you definitely gonna hit that graveyard.
Yeah, DD Crow is gonna be good. Then you have Ghost Ogre. So if you hover back over the XYZ gigantic Splight really quickly.
Mm-hmm.
So the Ghost Ogre is going to be really good because if you notice, this has to deattach to get its effect, but it can deattach from any XYZ. So if this is on XYZ, Ghost Ogre is going to be good to hit here. Ghost Ogre is also going to be good to hit some of the SWAT frogs, just to get the bodies off board and stop endless recursion. Spot removal is just going to be really good in general. Then we get into the cards that I don't like as much. So Droll is going to be really good if they open subpar, right? If they have to start their turn off by doing a lot of searching, it can definitely hinder their plays. But I will say they can combo through it. The next thing we have is droplets. I'm not a big advocate for droplets because again, they can make their board up to where it doesn't auto lose the drop ruler. And if you expend the resources for droplets, it makes you lose even harder. And permanence is good. It's just as good as an effect veiler, except for you can draw it for turn. But you can't target some of the negates. You can't target Toad, so it may not be as effective. And then you have the cross out. If this deck is really tier 0, this card is going to be really good because essentially everybody is playing the same deck, same hand traps.
Yes.
And another thing I want to notate really quickly, why introducing this deck is good is because it gives us more standardized hand traps. So if you look at the hand traps that we have here, they're all currently good in some capacity right now. Versus how we're playing right now, you may put Nib in the main, you may put this in the main, and it's really bad against another deck, another matchup.
Yeah.
So
Nib is just terrible against some matchup.
Right. And then DD Crow is good against a lot of matchups or okay against a lot of matchups. Ghost Ogre has his matchups. So one thing I will say that cross out will be universally good in that regard. The last hand trap I'm not too fond of is I can't even have in the brain fart. Go over just one more. I'm sorry. To the right. Shifter. So Shifter is going to be played in Exo Sisters, and it is going to hurt Terra elements a little bit. And then it hurts his standard decks. But the only thing it really hurts here is the Swap Frog engine and some of the recursion during your opponent's turn. But it doesn't necessarily stop them from making a board. So I don't know if that's going to be in the main deck, but it's still a blowout card nonetheless. The last thing I want to go over is in the side deck is some of the extra deck choices that we could play.
Okay.
So I think the nightmares are going to be critical for spot removal because if you notice, the deck itself doesn't inherently have any spot removal to anything, And then you have Goddess that you could make if you open really insane, or you can IP during your opponent's turn. We went over the Cat Shark already, and then you have like the live twin stuff. That's standard. I'm pretty sure everybody knows what that is by now.
Yeah.
So, and then we can just quickly go over the extra deck.
Okay.
So let's start with Zeus.
All right.
So Zeus is going to be played in every single deck. I do have some matches of me playing against this, and this is kind of how they outed my board. They have the downer to go over one. So they have the downer, so they normally have 2 wipes. And if you go over one more, this is how they're outing your board. So this card can't be destroyed by battle at the start of the damage step. If this card battled a monster, you can detach to bounce it from extra deck. So essentially, it's walking over anything that's not in. It's just walking over anything.
Yeah.
Even if you negate the effect, if you don't destroy it, and if you do destroy it, they figure out how somebody.
Oh, he's level 2. This is crazy. I had to keep realizing these are level 2, so I'm not used to seeing a lot of these cards I haven't even seen before.
Yeah, this card is old. Some of these cards are old.
Yeah.
And then you have Totally Awesome, which is the main negate recursion. Main negate recursion. And then this card, I don't know if you're gonna really see this card that much, but it does banish a monster your opponent controls to the end phase. And if it is destroyed by your opponent's card, you can target cards up to the number that materials it has and shuffle them back into the deck.
Whoa. That's gonna make people not even want to destroy this card. They're gonna be trying to. This is a good way to stall out too.
So typically, you can link into this, and it's like, are you gonna let me crash and wipe a board anyway, or are you gonna let me Zeus you? That's kind of like what we're getting into.
I didn't even think it. So even if you crash, it's okay. I got you.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, I can bounce too.
That's even more broke then.
Correct. And then the last thing is just like the access code, the Hulk, and the IP, which are pretty standard in most builds, unless you're playing the Nimble Engine, and then you won't see the Hulk. Okay. And then you have the Lambda, which is we're playing Gamma, so it's going to be very widely seen. And then the last 2 non-standard cards, just because I play Punk, is the Herald of Arclight and the Baron.
All right, and Bradley, explain them how they can get into this.
So essentially, you just activate the E-Telly, summon the Xiamen effect, pay 6, grab Foxy effect. You summon the note, you link off into Hulk, note 2, bring back the Foxy, and then depending on your hand, you can do some pretty crazy stuff. But you summon Gamma, and then you make the Baron, and then any level 2 from there, you overlay the Hulk. Any level 2 from there, any level 2 in your deck, you overlay the Hulk and that level 2 into gigantic Splight, and then you just keep comboing.
Okay. Wow.
Wow. That is.
This is basically this is what Bradley's looking to. This is basically not a final show of his list. We'll have more updates as we start learning more about how everything's gonna play out, more sets and stuff like that. But this is what he's looking at and how he's gonna play his list. He's always normally different from everybody else, which is good, as you guys seen from his Dragon Link list and his Dragoonity Dragon Link deck. He's always different. He doesn't just throw decks together. He always gets results with it. So that's a big, huge plus right there. He's different, kind of like Jeff Jones. Jeff Jones is one of those players who created decks. Jeff Jones would play the same. He could play the same deck as everybody else, but he wouldn't play the same exact list. His list was creative.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm at Jeff Jones, but because he's crazy.
But as far as the creative part, you are different. You don't just like, if you're gonna play the same deck as everybody, you're gonna make sure yours is different, and you don't just cram cards in there just to make it different. All your cards work together. Like we got Plague Spreader right here. Plague Spreader is a level 2. I didn't even realize that. Wow.
Yeah, you don't realize how good some of these level 2s are until you start really watching this deck. Like actually watching the videos for the deck. I think for me, I'm still gonna play Dragon Link. I feel like I can replicate what this deck does and still have something I like to do. So I'm just gonna dial back on the combo-ness and kind of go more hand trap. I don't know if combo-ness is the word, but dial back on the combo side, play more hand traps, and just essentially go first or second. Because I do think you can gas through the board. I do have some duels in me beating this deck with no going second cards. So if Roberto wants to post that, we can. And we also can do some combo videos, particular deck videos. And we can go more in depth about how to beat the deck and how the deck is trying to counter what you do to beat it. If Roberto wants to. That's the only reason I'm studying it, is just so I can beat it. Because I'm telling you, the next 3 months, Konami gave us what we asked for, a tier 0 format.
That's what everybody want. They don't like this diverse format right now. So
Yes,
a
it's so
question
diverse that it's not.
is exactly. So do you think formats like this is healthy for the community, or do you think it's unhealthy?
Um, so it depends, right? It depends how long is the format gonna last, what format did we just leave from, what does the tier 0 deck actually does, right?
Yeah.
Um, so we've been in some tier 0 formats, no matter what you do, you lose. So like Goki. For the most part, you were losing if that player went first. And for
Yeah.
Noble, you were losing for the most part if that player went first. I don't think this is what this deck is. It's just currently better than everything else in the format. And then they're going to give us a follow-up format of a triangle. And I don't really think it's going to be a triangle. I think it's going to be about 4 or 5 decks, maybe even 6 decks that can compete. Just because you're introducing Exo Sisters, which Flunder has a decent matchup against all of these decks. Um,
Okay.
we just now have a better way to prepare for these decks. So yeah, I think it's going to be an interesting format. But these next 3 formats, these next 3 months are going to be rough until Terra Elements get all their cards.
Guys, you heard it from him first, man. So this is a good starting point for you guys who are like looking to learn this deck and want to get some insight on it. Make sure you watch this video, like and subscribe to the channel. We're gonna give you some gameplay of this deck too. Uh it's a lot. This is how you get better, and this is how you progress. Um, Again, guys, Bradley has top 32 YCS. He's won a couple regionals, top plenty of regionals, top PPG events. So he has a lot of experience with deck building. And he has his top, like, he doesn't play a lot of events, but whenever he goes, he has a high percentage ratio of topping for the amount of events he goes to, which is really good. That's what you want to see. So
Yeah,
you're learning from
definitely.
somebody with experience out there. And you got any questions, guys, you can inbox him. You guys can message me on him, like message me like you done before. Any questions you don't, you have no way to contact him, just ask me and I can, reach out to him and get answers for you. So don't be scared to reach out. Just do what you guys been doing. Inbox me on Facebook, Roberto Peterson. Write me on here, Yugioh Sports Center. He sees the messages on here too. So write him on Facebook, Bradley Wallace. We'll get some answers for you, but we definitely want to help people prepare for the upcoming season and the upcoming format. Things are about to change, and this is a game breaker right here.
Yeah, I definitely agree. So yeah, if I have any questions, let me know. I'm pretty sure there's gonna be a lot of YouTube videos going up of different builds and different takes. So I'm definitely gonna see what other individuals are doing for the TCG, and if something is groundbreaking, give them their credit, but also bring it to our platform as well.
Exactly. Appreciate it. Let's see what we got here. Do you have any quick gameplay? You want to squeeze the gameplay in here, or you want to?
I think we should wait. We're already at 28
Wait.
minutes. I think
All
we
right.
can. I think we could squeeze a gameplay in for another video, and then what we do is just go over that gameplay, like my train of thought, misplays that might have happened, stuff like that.
Okay. Well, we're gonna wrap it up, guys. So this is a good, healthy video, man. You guys got he went very in detail with this video. Taught you guys what you needed. If you need any more, like I say, any more questions, that's not the finished build yet. That is just him giving people a start so you guys will know what to look at, what to get. And actually, let me go back to the build. So I'll slowly go over every card so you guys can go, when you guys watch the video, you can pause somewhere if you need to, so you know what a card is. You won't have any question like, hey, what card is that?
Yeah, for me, I think this format is going to be about consistency. That's what most tier 0 formats are about. A deck consistently doing something that's a little faster, a little unfair. So I guess what's going to determine the wins is how creative you can get with staying within that parameter.
Definitely I gotta get me some practice myself against these guys and start learning this deck too.
Yeah, it's gonna seem overwhelming because when I first played it, I didn't know how I felt about it because I was kind of just destroying it, and then I kind of played against some better players, and it felt overwhelming until you realize what the deck is trying to accomplish, and then it just felt like an uphill battle, but it felt like a winnable battle.
And that's the most important thing, that is winnable. So people that don't want to play the deck, you know that you do have a possibility of winning. It's not one of those Goki formats where you just can't win if you lose the dice roll. You just got to be smarter about it, and don't play against people that's not good with it and think I'm
Yeah,
beating them. Just like you said, and you play better players, and you're like, damn, I didn't know that could do this, and you start
yeah,
losing.
it felt overwhelming. So I got some videos of me losing and some videos of me winning. So we'll just kind of go over all of those. If it's a video where I brick, I try to stay away from it, but it does happen.
All right, well, we about to wrap it up. We'll definitely go over some of those videos of Bradley playing and go into detail the winning and the losing ones, so you guys can see from both point of views. And that's the video. I hope you guys enjoy it. Like and subscribe to the channel. And remember, next week, the next tournament of Power starts. This is going to be a tournament with full of top players. So if you want the opportunity to join, comment on the video, subscribe to the channel, inbox me or Bradley on Facebook, and get a chance to play against some of the best people. And
All right, see you later.
Bradley,
Take care.
all right, y'all have a good one. I'll talk to you later, Bradley.
All right, see you later.